Have you ever pondered which distinct vegetables enable Amish gardens to flourish, while yours might falter? These 15 overlooked vegetable varieties withstand severe winters, develop in infertile soil, and offer incredible flavor with very little tending. Ranging from roots with an oyster-like taste to flora that actually get better with frost, these hardy plants could be the element your garden is lacking. Salsify. Exhibiting a remarkable capacity to prosper where other vegetables falter, salsify, when cooked correctly, provides a taste astonishingly akin to oysters. The Amish hold this robustness in high regard, particularly within communities where optimal farmland is scarce or costly. Salsify can be left directly in the earth throughout winter, much like possessing a natural cooling unit beneath your feet. Amish families frequently cultivate salsify in designated areas they can reach even with snow blanketing the garden, gathering only what is necessary for that day's meals. The sole drawback of salsify is its tendency toward stringiness if prepared incorrectly. The initial instance of someone mishandling salsify in the kitchen is akin to attempting to consume a sweater that was inadvertently boiled for supper. Amish culinary experts have refined methods to sidestep this problem. They usually scrub the roots instead of peeling them, then immerse them for a short period in lemon-infused water prior to cooking. This uncomplicated procedure helps to break down the fibers responsible for the stringiness. When unhurriedly roasted with a touch of butter and a dash of herbs, salsify is elevated to a culinary delight. What truly distinguishes salsify is its capability to endure in substandard soil. While tomato plants might languish and lettuce may go limp, salsify persists in its growth. For Amish cultivators aiming to optimize their land's productivity, this versatile vegetable yields dependable sustenance without necessitating prime agricultural conditions. Cardoon. Italian newcomers first introduced cardoon to American shores, yet it was the Amish who safeguarded it after mainstream farming had all but forgotten its existence. Resembling celery that's been significantly amplified, cardoon produces striking silvery green stalks that can attain heights of 4 feet during a favorable season. Cardoons grow to such a size that some Amish tillers of the soil have reportedly discovered misplaced socks, a trio of pencils, and someone's lost spectacles concealed within their cardoon patch. Amish horticulturists have devised an ingenious clay tile blanching technique to cultivate the most palatable cardoon achievable. By encircling the plants with terracotta tiles, they establish the ideal conditions for yielding tender, subtly flavored stalks. This method is not documented in agricultural texts. Rather, it is conveyed through familial lines, with each succeeding generation incorporating its own refinements. The purple thistle-like blossoms are not merely aesthetically pleasing, they are abuzz with significance in Amish gardens. Bees, butterflies, and advantageous insects congregate around cardoon flowers, rendering this overlooked vegetable a vital contributor to the pollination of the entire garden. In addition to its horticultural advantages, cardoon is a source of cynerin, the identical compound present in artichokes, known for promoting healthy liver activity and aiding digestion. Amish communities have long cherished cardoon as both a source of nourishment and a traditional remedy, employing it to soothe upset stomachs following substantial meals. Getting cardoon ready for consumption demands a degree of patience. The stalks must be steeped and briefly boiled to eliminate any bitterness. Nevertheless, the Amish maintain that the finest foods justify the time invested. Cardamine. For many generations, Amish cultivators have observed cardamine as nature's indicator that the ground is prepared for sowing cool season crops. This unassuming plant, characterized by its diminutive leaves, is the premier wild green to emerge from the earth as winter recedes. An old Amish adage states, "When cardamine appears, peas find their place." This method of natural timing surpasses any planting schedule, as it adapts to the prevailing conditions within your particular garden. Seek out cardamine's delicate white blossoms as your signal for harvesting. As soon as those small flowers emerge, you have reached the optimal point for flavor before any bitterness can develop. The Amish gather it swiftly during this period, collecting sufficient amounts for immediate consumption and for drying to be used later. What renders cardamom especially prized are its inherent antihistamine qualities. Precisely when spring allergies start to cause discomfort, this unpretentious plant provides relief. Cardamom is so effective for allergies that a single sneeze within an Amish community will prompt 3 neighbors to arrive at your doorstep bearing cardamom tea before you can even utter, "Bless you." Numerous Amish families concoct a customary spring elixir by blending cardamom with dandelion leaves and violet blossoms, a concoction that existed long before contemporary allergy treatments. Its gentle, peppery zest enlivens spring salads following a winter diet of preserved items. Amish cooks also incorporate chopped cardamom into soups and egg-based dishes for an added nutritional benefit. May apples. For centuries, the Amish have esteemed May apples for their distinctive tastes and traditional healing applications. These plants unfurl their characteristic umbrella-like leaves before the majority of woodland flora have awakened from their winter dormancy, appearing almost like magic as the snow subsides. Every component of this plant is poisonous, with the sole exception of its completely matured fruit. If you stroll through an Amish woodland garden in the early spring, you might observe these umbrella-shaped leaves surfacing from the forest bed. Amish youngsters are taught from an early age to value yet exercise caution around these plants, often through rhymes such as, "Umbrella leaves hide fruit so sweet, but only yellow ones are safe to eat." The Amish have a long history of utilizing small quantities of May apple root in conventional healing concoctions, especially for dermatological issues. Certain Amish healers formulate special unguents containing May apple to address particular types of growths, a practice that contemporary science has regarded with interest, as compounds derived from May apple are currently employed in prescription drugs for comparable uses. In contrast to most cultivated garden plants, May apples establish natural clusters in shaded locales. The Amish collaborate with this inherent characteristic rather than resisting it, fashioning woodland garden areas where May apples can take root alongside other indigenous plants. May apples propagate with such rapidity that Amish gardeners frequently jest that they ought to demand rent from them for occupying so much garden territory. These semi-natural garden plots necessitate minimal upkeep while yielding both sustenance and remedies. The fruit itself offers a taste reminiscent of a tropical delight, a flavor profile somewhere between mango, passion fruit, and citrus. The singular item I'll ever endorse on our channel is a publication by Claude Davis, an experienced prepper, detailing 126 superfoods and preservation techniques from periods of crisis such as the Great Depression and wartime, which are otherwise unobtainable. I resolved to back his book because we represent the final generation capable of transmitting these methods and knowledge of superfoods to our offspring or their children. It would be a profound loss if this information concerning highly nourishing foods and preservation strategies for surviving crises were to vanish. Additionally, you can locate a book on herbal remedies by Nicole Peleon in their shop. If you are viewing this on television, you can search for our channel, Frugal Solutions, on your mobile phone or tablet and access the books by selecting the link provided in our channel's description or within any other video's description. Ground cherries. For generations, Amish tillers of the soil have cultivated ground cherries, prizing them for their singular taste and notable adaptability. If tomatoes possessed a sweet, impish relative who attended family events clad in a paper lantern outfit, that relative would be ground cherries. A papery husk encloses each diminutive fruit, functioning as nature's ideal wrapping. When ground cherries reach ripeness, they simply drop to the earth, thus their name, prepared for gathering. Amish youngsters frequently transform the harvesting process into a kind of treasure hunt, amassing the husked fruits from underneath the low-growing, spreading plants. You don't pick ground cherries, they inform you when they're ready, an Amish farmer might remark. This characteristic of self-harvesting renders them especially useful during the demanding canning period. A fact not widely known about ground cherries is their substantial vitamin content. Containing more vitamin C per portion than oranges, these minute fruits deliver a significant nutritional benefit. Ground cherries are so rich in vitamin C that one Amish matriarch asserted that consuming them is the reason her 90-year-old spouse still possesses all his teeth, both of his. The Amish value this attribute, particularly for fortifying winter immunity when fresh fruits are in short supply. Another advantage that ensures ground cherries a place in Amish gardens is their resistance to pests. While tomatoes might succumb to hornworms or blight, ground cherries generally navigate the growing season with few difficulties. Skirret. Prior to carrots becoming the dominant vegetable in our produce drawers, skirret held a prominent position in medieval and colonial gardens, managing to retain its presence in Amish communities even as it faded from mainstream agriculture. Bunches of roots resembling fingers make the task of harvesting considerably simpler. In contrast to carrots with their singular main root, one can literally extract a handful of sweet, starchy sustenance with a single pull. For Amish households with numerous individuals to nourish and restricted time, this expediency is important. It is the taste that genuinely distinguishes skirret. Envision a sweet parsnip blended with the firm consistency of water chestnuts when prepared correctly. An Amish patriarch might observe, store-purchased carrots cannot measure up once you've tasted skew from your own plot. An intriguing Amish culinary practice involves combining skyr with meadowsweet herbs, a pairing that amplifies the inherent sweetness of the roots. Skirret is reputed by Amish gardeners to be so straightforward to cultivate that even individuals who might inadvertently cause a plastic plant to perish could grow it successfully. This particular combination has a history stretching back centuries, yet continues to be pertinent in contemporary Amish kitchens. Skirretro also aligns seamlessly with the Amish principle of sustainability. Once a ski root patch is established, it can yield produce for many years with very little subsequent effort. The plant's white blossoms draw in beneficial insects, and it demands less water than numerous modern vegetable varieties. Parsnips. The Amish have cultivated parsnip strains chosen particularly for their exceptional tolerance to cold, guaranteeing sugary yields even following harsh winters. The majority of vegetables are adversely affected by cold conditions. However, parsnips actually benefit, transforming their starches into sugars as temperatures decrease. Frost changes these roots into a form of nature's confectionery, a characteristic Amish horticulturists have valued for many generations. Numerous Americans are unaware that parsnip pie was previously more prevalent than pumpkin pie on festive tables. Parsnip pie enjoyed such widespread popularity in earlier times that pumpkins in the fields might have pondered their shortcomings. It was the original crisis of vegetable identity in conventional Amish communities. Nonetheless, this sweet spice delicacy continues to be a cherished indulgence. The initial parsnip pie of the winter season elicits more joyous expressions than any commercially produced cake ever could, as one Amish grandmother articulates it. The Amish prize parsnips not merely for their taste, but also for their functional advantages. These roots can stay in the soil all through winter, supplying fresh sustenance when other vegetables are long since depleted. This inherent storage technique corresponds perfectly with the Amish focus on self-reliance and diminished reliance on contemporary storage methods. Of particular note are the ancient parsnip strains preserved within certain Amish communities, which are believed to contain compounds that enhance night vision. Although modern scientific inquiry has not extensively investigated this link, Amish tradition asserts that consistent consumption of parsnips contributes to maintaining good eyesight well into advanced age. Yukon. When Amish communities aimed to broaden their range of crops for improved food security, they adopted yukon, a tuber from South America that resembles a potato but is consumed like a fruit. This distinctive vegetable establishes a notable presence in gardens with its imposing 6-foot-tall plants, adorned with daisy-like blossoms, while its edible roots develop unseen beneath the soil. What renders yakan exceptionally unique is its firm, sweet consistency when consumed uncooked. Differing from most root vegetables that necessitate cooking, yakan can be cut into salads or eaten directly from the hand, much like an apple. Amish youngsters frequently take freshly rinsed yakan pieces as snacks when assisting with the harvest. Yakan possesses special FOS sugars, fructooligosaccharides, which do not cause a rise in blood sugar levels and, in fact, promote beneficial gut flora. This characteristic makes it highly useful for Amish individuals who are managing blood sugar issues. God placed remedies in our gardens, one Amish farmer observed, and yakan is among the most palatable remedies available. The Amish appreciate crops that fulfill multiple roles, and yakan certainly does. Yakan plants attain such a height that when birds inadvertently fly into them, they momentarily halt, as if to apologize for colliding with what they perceive to be a small tree. Apart from its edible roots, the tall plants provide valuable summer shade for heat-sensitive crops cultivated in their vicinity. Following the harvest, the plentiful leaves serve as superior compost material or as feed for livestock. Storage is an additional advantage. Properly treated yakan tubers actually increase in sweetness during storage and can remain viable for several winter months if stored in cool, dim environments. Carriac, celery root. Amish households understand that Syriac's unpretentious exterior conceals its genuine worth. Beneath that gnarled, lumpy surface resides a refined taste that Amish culinary practitioners have cherished for many generations. Syriac possesses such an uncomely appearance that upon its initial display at a county agricultural fair, 3 individuals attempted to classify it as an unknown extraterrestrial organism. While contemporary consumers might overlook this ugly duckling among vegetables, the Amish have long acknowledged its value. The Amish fondness for celery root originates, in part, from its extraordinary keeping qualities. Well before the advent of refrigeration, Amish communities required vegetables capable of enduring the winter months without deteriorating. Carriac meets this requirement flawlessly, staying firm and full of flavor for extended periods when stored in cool, somewhat moist surroundings. Beyond its functional benefits, Carriac imparts a refined taste to winter fare when fresh alternatives are scarce. Its celery-like essence lends intricacy to soups and stews, yet with a more substantial, nuttier character than ordinary celery stalks. Numerous Amish families conserve their surplus by fermenting celery, thereby producing piquant accompaniments for winter meals that also foster digestive health. A fact not widely known is that celery is rich in potent anti-inflammatory agents, which are a significant component of Amish traditional remedies. Customary concoctions include celery tea for alleviating joint pain and poultices, created from the grated root for soothing skin irritations. Within Amish kitchens, resourcefulness is paramount. Even celeriac's sparse small leaves are preserved by drying and utilized as a flavoring throughout the winter. Lovage. Amish cultivators appreciate the efficiency of lovage, frequently situating it along the periphery of kitchen gardens, so its considerable height does not cast shade upon other plants. Reaching impressive heights of 6 feet or greater, this plant offers flavor from its roots to its seeds with very little cultivation effort. Establish it once, and you will reap harvests for many years. Every portion of this plant justifies its place in the garden. The celery-like leaves enrich soups and stews, whereas the hollow stems fulfill a distinctive role that brings joy to Amish children and adults alike. These natural conduits infuse a delicate taste into tomato-based beverages, elevating even unadorned tomato juice to something special. Lovage thrives with such vigor that one Amish gardener, having planted it beside his porch, now accesses his home via a second-story window, because the main entrance has vanished beneath the profuse foliage. In periods when commerce was restricted, Amish communities depended on lovage seeds as an alternative to pepper. The seeds, once dried and pulverized, yield a warming spice that successfully combines the characteristics of celery and black pepper flavors. This self-reliant quality of lovage is in perfect harmony with Amish principles of autonomy from external provisions. Possibly its most unconventional application is found in Amish healing customs, where lovage roots are occasionally preserved in sugar, much like angelica. These sugared confections are not merely for enjoyment, they are consumed to alleviate digestive upset and lessen fluid retention. This blend of confection and remedy makes them particularly well liked by children. As summer wanes, lovage's umbrella-shaped flower heads draw in beneficial insects, which aid in managing garden nuisances. Amaranth. The Aztecs held this adaptable plant in high esteem for both ceremonial use and everyday nourishment. Today, Amish tillers of the soil perpetuate this custom in their vibrant gardens. Ancient societies regarded amaranth as sacred well before contemporary superfoods gained popularity. The entirety of the amaranth plant offers sustenance. No part is discarded. Tender young leaves provide vitamin-packed greens for early spring salads, while the mature seeds are gathered as a complete cereal. Amish households frequently mill these minute seeds into flour for substantial breads that help them endure the winter season. Growing prominently in Amish gardens, amaranth exhibits eye-catching red or golden panicles that gleam in the early morning light. These impressive blossoms fulfill a dual role, enhancing the beauty of the surroundings while yielding thousands of wholesome seeds. Amaranth seed clusters are so densely formed that some Amish gardeners claim to have discovered 3 misplaced garden implements and a hat within a single panicle. Its nutritional composition is impressive to contemporary health authorities. Amaranth is a source of complete protein, containing all essential amino acids, and provides a greater amount of calcium per portion than milk. This quality makes it especially beneficial in Amish communities where access to dairy products may be restricted. Conventional Amish culinary practices maximize amaranth's inherent benefits. By gently toasting the seeds prior to cooking, they acquire a delightful, nutty character that elevates simple porridge to a noteworthy breakfast. Children especially relish the popped seeds, which bear a resemblance to miniature popcorn and serve as healthful snacks. Sorrel. Unmistakably tart and zesty, sorrel's characteristic taste originates from its natural oxalic acid content, which imparts a tangy kick unlike that of any other garden green. The earliest indication of spring is marked by sorrel's vivid green foliage emerging through the barely unfrozen ground in Amish gardens. This enduring green reliably reappears annually without any need for reseeding, a steadfast companion after the desolation of winter. Sorrel possesses such a pronounced tanginess that an Amish proverb suggests if one consumes it before singing in church, even the most musically challenged individual will suddenly sound like a celestial being. This singular flavor profile renders sorrel ideal for reawakening palates after months of consuming preserved winter provisions. In numerous Amish communities, traditional sorrel soup signifies the conclusion of winter. The straightforward blend of sorrel, potatoes, and broth results in a bowl of sunshine that commemorates the advent of spring. Certain families enrich it with hard-boiled eggs and cream for special events. What makes sorrel especially functional in Amish gardens is its capacity for ongoing harvest. In contrast to lettuce, which requires complete harvesting, sorrel leaves can be gathered from the plant's periphery, while it continues to develop from its core. This system supplies fresh greens for several months without the necessity of replanting. Amish cultivators particularly esteem sorrel for its healing attributes. Its vitamin C level is comparable to that of citrus fruits, offering reinforcement for the immune system during the change of seasons. Customary spring elixirs frequently incorporate sorrel to help purify the system following the heavier foods and scarce fresh options of winter. Egyptian walking onions. Differing from standard onions that propagate via seeds, these distinctive onions generate small bulblets at the apex of their stalks. As these top-formed sets gain weight, they cause the stalk to incline towards the earth, where they then take root, effectively traversing the garden over successive seasons. They execute a leisurely botanical progression across Amish gardens. The prominent reddish-purple hue renders these onions as ornamental as they are functional. Amish horticulturists frequently plant them as edgings where their singular look can be admired. Certain Amish gardeners even place miniature roadway markers beside their Egyptian walking onions, bearing the caution, slow-moving vegetable crossing. The provision of year-round flavor makes Egyptian walking onions especially prized in Amish culinary practices. Green sprouts offer a taste similar to scallions in early spring. Mature bulbs are ready for harvest in summer, and the top sets are collected in autumn, effectively yielding 3 harvests from a single planting. Their storage could not be more straightforward. The bulbs desiccate readily and can be plaited together for suspension in kitchen entryways. This conventional Amish storage technique necessitates no electricity or specialized apparatus, all the while ensuring onions are readily available for daily culinary use throughout the winter. Numerous Amish families tend to walking onion patches that were first established by their grandparents or even great-grandparents. The plant's inherent ability to self-propagate ensures their continued journey through generations, thereby linking contemporary Amish cooks with their forebears through a living horticultural legacy. Jerusalem artichokes. Indigenous peoples of America cultivated these wholesome tubers well before the arrival of European colonists. Notwithstanding the perplexing name, these vegetables are not true artichokes and bear no relation to Jerusalem. Amish communities readily embraced this native plant, acknowledging its exceptional yield and flexibility. Jerusalem artichokes form a striking natural barrier when planted along the edges of properties. Attaining heights of up to 10 feet and displaying bright yellow blossoms, they function as effective privacy shields and windbreaks, safeguarding more tender crops. Jerusalem artichokes proliferate with such vigor that Amish gardeners quip they ought to obtain a court order to prevent them from encroaching upon the chicken coop. Beneath the surface, these plants enact their true marvel. Gnarled tubers increase in number profusely without the need for replanting, capable of yielding as much as 200 pounds of food from an initial planting of merely 10 pounds. This remarkable output makes them indispensable mainstays in Amish gardens, where self-reliance is paramount. The one widely known disadvantage, their impact on digestion, has resulted in their being called by regrettable epithets unsuitable for polite discourse. Amish culinary practitioners found that roasting them with particular herbs, such as caraway and fennel, counteracts these effects, rendering them more agreeable for family consumption. Harvesting persists throughout the winter months as required. One need only clear away snow to unearth fresh tubers. The Amish value this intrinsic storage method, which furnishes fresh vegetables when conventional gardening is unfeasible. Ground nuts. These tubers, rich in protein, develop on subterranean vines, yielding strings of nutty-tasting morsels that are prepared in a manner similar to potatoes. Concealed riches flourish beneath the earth in Amish woodland gardens. Ground nuts, also known by the name American potatoes, provided sustenance for Native Americans and early colonists during severe winters. The notable protein concentration distinguishes ground nuts from ordinary root vegetables. Possessing a complete protein profile, akin to that of beans yet growing in the manner of potatoes, they supply vital nourishment without necessitating rich garden soil. Amish communities appreciate this twofold advantage, particularly in regions where cultivation conditions are difficult. Initiating a groundnut patch calls for patience, but ultimately compensates for the effort. Following the first planting, harvesting can proceed for a period of 5 to 7 years without the need to replant, making it ideal for Amish families aiming for sustained food provision with minimal labor. Ground nuts are such consistent yielders that Amish farmers assert they are more trustworthy than the weather report, local rumors, or a youth's commitment to perform household tasks. The nutty, potato-like taste is enhanced by the slow cooking techniques prevalent in traditional Amish kitchens. Gently cooking them with herbs in substantial stews or roasting them alongside autumn vegetables accentuates their distinct flavor. Young Amish cooks discovered that incorporating a modest quantity of maple syrup while roasting amplifies their inherent nutty characteristics. Wild-gathered ground nuts once spared early American settlers from starvation. Present-day Amish gardeners pay tribute to this legacy by cultivating this hardy, wholesome, native plant within their varied food production systems. You don't require elaborate gardens or flawless soil to cultivate exceptional food. These traditional vegetables have nourished Amish families for many generations due to their inherent resilience. They naturally ward off pests, thrive in less fertile earth, and continue to yield even when faced with adverse weather. Consider planting a selection and see for yourself why straightforward cultivation techniques and robust plants frequently prove most effective.